Okay, good day. Welcome back to the channel. Got a few more buttons on the hat and Elma is done. So I've got a few spare hours today. I'm gonna dig into the V4 a little bit further. We're gonna see if we can get into that crankshaft and just kind of assess what kind of condition it's in. So got everything back from the show, got it all put away. That went fairly flawlessly, thankfully. But yeah, so today we're going to work on that V4. As you can see, I got all the studs out, which was a battle. A lot of them were really in there, this one being the worst of all of them. And you can see just how pitted and corroded it is. So that one was really tough coming out. You can see how the threads were eaten away. So this thing's been sitting out in the weather for a long time. But they're all out, which is going to make this portion a lot easier. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this thing flipped over. Now we have to take this plate off. So I'll grab a wrench and we'll get this pulled off. That's interesting. Looks like all 1/2 inch, and then you've got like 1/7/8. This was actually a 1 inch. So I've got that ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and crack all these open. Okay, so 16 of these 1/2 inch. And I'm only saying that out loud because I may need to reference this when I put it back together. Now we'll see if it comes out without taking that one out. Nope, I don't think so. Nope, that's got to come out. That's got another copper seal behind it. Almost like another drain plug. Okay. Oh, something steel just hit the floor. Make sure we get this. That is some mucky buildup. Look at that. Woo! Yummy. Oh, that looks like a valve. That is in fact a valve head. Interesting. What else we got in here? That's a chunk of something. Yeah, we got major problems in here. All right. So, I gotta go get a light so that we can get a look inside here. Alright, so we've got the oil pump pickup right there. That's gonna have to get out of the way first. And then we can get into the crank here. We've got one connecting rod there. We've got the two connecting rods that are on the same journal with no divider. That kind of surprises me. So those two connecting rods share the same journal. And then we can't really see the next one. There it is. And that would be the fourth one. Then past that you can see the camshaft, and then you can see those three bolts that hold the head down. Those are going to be really fun to get to because, as you can see, they're recessed under the camshaft on both sides. So we got to get this oil pump out of the way, or the screen I mean, and then we have to take all of the connecting rods loose, and then we have to get those bolts loose. And then I was just thinking about it, that valve head came through that piston head. So the question is, what happened first? Did the piston head shatter, and then as it continued to crank before it shut down, bust that valve head and send that through? Or did the valve head get wedged down and smash through the piston? And it looks like there's some pretty good witness marks on the crankshaft where that might have been smacking metal too. I don't see it as much back here, but it's really shiny right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Right here. Alright, I'm going to see if I can get this oil screen out of the way, and then we'll go a little deeper. Okay, I got the oil screen out. Bunch of gunk buildup on there. Same screen you would find in the inline 6. The extension pipe should just thread off. I'm going to see if I can get that out too. Whoops. Well, that's just gonna have to sit down there. Okay. So that makes it a lot easier to see in here. There you see the double journal. And then the bolts that I got to get at. So I'm going to set up to get these connecting rods freed up.
Not at all.
All right. I think I need a short extension. Yeah. Huh? Half inch. There it goes. Okay. Yep.
Tell you what, it was not very friendly.
This one is not going to be easy.
What's wrong?
That is facing the totally wrong way to get the wrench on it.
Oh dear.
Might have to do that one with a regular wrench.
That's not even the right size. Oh, you're already missing it.
There's number 2. So apparently those 2 were the easy ones because of the directions that the bolt heads faced. Now we've got this one where the bolt head face back there. It'll be a little tougher to get to. And then number 4, they are way up by that camshaft, and that bottom one is going to be a real treat to try to get done. So this could take a while.
Sure.
There, I think I might have gotten it. Hey, that's what our problem was. Okay, come on, nice and easy.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay. Now, let's pull them bolts out.
Woohoo!
Those are longer than I'm used to. Light.
Thanks, camera action.
Do we have a 3/4? We should. Thought I was using another layer. 5/8. Maybe we'll grab a 3/4.
Yeah. I'm only gonna screw it once, so I started.
Okay.
3/4 lunch time.
Half. Or a quarter. 3/8. It's not fair, he's got smaller arms than I do. Let me just do that.
Oh, that works.
Let's not mess it up though.
Huh, sweet. You taking the crankshaft out too?
I just realized we wouldn't have had to pull that one either if it wasn't for that boot being in the way.
The what?
That boot.
Oh, yeah. Random one on my U.
Okay. Now we can roll this back over.
Remember those tappets are gonna fall out.
Yep. Back the camera up a little bit. Hey, it's all the stuff I lost.
1, 2.
Alright, this should be the one that will pull out when we get these off.
The rest of them didn't fall.
Okay, that's one.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, so I did a bunch of work off camera, and let me show you what we're running into. So I got those cams out, and then I got the 6 bolts removed to take the jugs off the head, and when I got around to the other side here, I took the 6 bolts out that hold down the outside of those jugs to the engine block. And right now, the way that the crankshaft is positioned, I can't get the connecting rods off of the crankshaft because the connecting rod is pinned up against the cylinder, and it won't move back any further. So then my thought was, I need to loosen the rest of the jugs so that I could get a little bit of movement into that crankshaft. So I went after these 6 bolts yesterday off camera, and I got 4 of them without issue. These front 2 were so corroded that a 3/4 wrench or a 3/4 throw foot or whatever would not fit. With all of the gusseting that's in here, it's really tough to get anything in there. So eventually I broke down and decided I had to cut them. I used a grinding wheel. It's not the cleanest way to do it, but it was relatively quick and efficient. I did nick into the cast a little bit here, but I was careful not to, penetrate to the water jacket. Got a little scarring here, same on this side, scarring here, and even less of a cut on this side. So I know I didn't penetrate the water jacket. In the event these jugs are still going to be good and reusable, I can use them. Just a little cosmetic, it's nothing major, but I'll show you what those nuts look like. So really chewed up, really decayed away. With just a couple of cuts, I was able to knock them open and pull them off. So studs,
I'll have to get some replacement studs. Not a big deal. I probably have some, so not concerned about that at all. In fact, if I could have gotten the wheel in there, I would have just chopped the whole stud off, because there still would have been enough protruding that I could get a pipe wrench on and pull it out. So as far as that goes, we're good. The jugs are now loose, and the next step is we're going to flip this thing over again and see if we can get some wiggle in that crankshaft to get this one side off, so that I can get enough rotation to take the other two caps off that I couldn't get at yesterday. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes. Okay, good news. I got number 3. I got the top bolt out of the connecting rods, and I got the bottom one started. There it is. And we'll pop that cap. There it goes. There's our number 3. There we go. Just in a bad angle again. Get it straighter. There. Haha. That's it. That one.
There we go. Alright, now finally found an application where I get to use it. That's cool. I was able to turn that right out. Let's pop this cap and pull that jug. There we go. Right there. Give me my cap. There we go. And there's number 4. Okay, let's flip her back up. And now she's much lighter, even though it didn't look like it. Let's take a peek inside. All right. Well, those mains feel pretty good. One very noticeable difference that I've seen so far is how the oil is routed to the mains. It follows a tubing system up and top here. I'm going to have to look at it closer. We'll get that on a different video. But that is definitely different. There's our cast number on our crankshaft, 10A5800. I'm still just very blown away at the fact that they have both of those connecting rods on one sleeve. It's very interesting. Alright, so the next thing I need to do is clean up my mess. I need to get all of these matched back up with their caps so that I can get my imprints in them, so that I know that everything goes back together the right way, and then clean up the shop a little bit, and then we'll move on to what it's going to take to actually get those pistons out of there. That'll be the next one. So with that said, that's where we're going to wrap it. It was about what I expected to get that thing apart. If you take your time, hopefully you don't ruin things. You know, unfortunately I had to cut those 2 bolts out. Age and weather had a lot to do with that, but for the most part everything looks salvageable. I've got to clean up that inner crankcase and really go through it thoroughly and make sure that it's going to be usable. But as of right now, everything that I'm seeing, I think we have a good crankcase, which means we can move forward and actually build this into a power unit. So keep your eye open for that. As always, I really appreciate the support in the channel. We're growing, and it's a good thing, and I'm really working hard to try to make sure that I can keep the momentum going through winter. I've got a number of projects, and looking to bring more projects home. So there won't be a shortage of things to do and things that I plan on posting. So thank you all very much, and as always, take your foot off the clutch. Thanks, everybody.